Stan, when you and I first met, it was at the paranormal conference that we had here. And at the conference, you presented to those who were in attendance a couple of the crystal skulls, which was very, very impressive. And I would be interested in hearing more about these skulls. Is there anything that you can elaborate on them?
Ronnie, I will take this as a good sign that you're asking about that, because I am completing a book about that. That's going to go into detail about it. But to give you a Reader's Digest version of it, Spirit had guided me to it. And the energy in it is so incredible because you were part of it. You saw that too. And what I've been doing now is getting a list of a number of people who are signing affidavits of when they were in it and what is the reason for them going there and what the results were. And they're absolutely amazing. And I take no credit for anything. Spirit has led me to something, and I'm there and I'm to share it. And that's what I do. Before COVID, I was going to various places and doing healing circles and working on with it. The history of it, I don't say how old it is, because I've had mediums and other people go to it, and I know some would say it's like 10,000 years old, 5,000 this. I don't do that, because even the Mitchell Hedges crystal skull, which is probably one of the more famous crystal skulls there, it's X amount of years only because of the medium who picked up on that. And I prefer to be exact what it is. So it's not necessarily the age of it, the energy of it. I think anybody, whatever they have, if they have their own crystal skull, if they're tarot deck, you put your energy into that, you absorb that, and then you send it out. Like I know when I do tarot cards, when I do tarot card readings down there, and my energy's in it, but also the other energy of the person who is touching it is in there, because everything is energy. Energy is all over. Like I have an old rocking chair. My grandmother had brought it from Austria many, many years ago, etc. And people say, "Oh, why don't you have it, refurbished, make it look good?" No, because the energy of somebody in the family that's been there, been holding it there, and that's why it's rubbed like that. So I'm a very big believer in energy and picking up on energy. I think most people, and Asika, you were right before you said everybody has it. I believe it is, but some people suppress it either consciously or subconsciously with it. But most people, the answers are within them, and nothing, it isn't stone. In fact, I'm a firm believer, and I would tell anybody, we are not born with a compass and a map, and our whole life is in front of us when we were born. It's not a stone. It's not like that. I believe in free will. You have free will, and it's up to you to do something. I'd be very careful if somebody said, well, this and this is going to happen, and you can't do anything about it. Think about it. Maybe you can do something about it. I believe people ultimately control their own lives, but it's very important for those who want it and need it. Psychics, mediums are very good at setting people in direction, but that person has to make the decision themselves and go with the consequences, whatever they might be.
That's very true, because I know Rachel and I, as we had episodes where we did just call-ins to do live readings, and we weren't using any tools. It's just ourselves and our own energy. And I don't know how many times we've told people, and even when I was doing readings at your psychic conventions and things, that yes, we indeed have free will, and that what I'm seeing right now, and I like to think, and I don't know how you feel about this, Stan, but I like to believe people sort of go in patterns of energy, and I find they generally shift about every 6 to 7 months. So if you're doing a reading with someone, and like you said, you might see something, but you're not necessarily going to deliver it in a very cut and dry method. You are going to use that free will, that it does tend to shift. And you're right, like I know even Rachel, we
You-
talked about.
Yes, you're right. And there's that expectation I find with the general public, especially at psychic fairs, where they expect you to do certain things. You know, they expect you to cleanse your table. They expect you to have a tarot deck for even, you know, where's the tarot deck? Or an oracle pack, or your little runes. There's like this expectation that I find very interesting. And then they're quite baffled if I don't need that. It's like, I'm fine. I don't actually need that. It's kind of there for show, it's display. I just don't need it. You know, I go off questions and see what I can get from that energy and just move on from there. Yeah, I don't feel that I need those things, but yeah, it seems like that the other people do. It's sometimes it's table dressing.
I agree with you. Where some people are brainwashed or from certain movies, oh, you have to do that. No, you don't need
Right.
it. And it's
Yes.
just a tool, you know, but you're good. Even when you're doing a tarot card reading, working the way that
Yes.
you are, Rachel, let's go there. You're giving what it's the message it's giving you, that it's
Yeah.
sending you, what you are
Exactly.
picking up for it.
That's right. Yes.
So can I ask Stan then, for you with the crystal skulls, you feel as you're the conduit, correct? So you're the conduit that you can deliver these messages that you're getting through the skull, but you're not actually the person, how do I say this? You're not receiving the message, in a sense, you're receiving it from the crystal skull. Is that correct in the way that I'm thinking that?
I never thought about it, but I believe you are right. Yes. Yes. I mean, you know, it was a reason why it was not given to me, because
Right.
I had to go to a lot of different places with that on that there to put the energy into it, and I'm picking it up. Yes. Well, there's a lot of things, you know, you don't know why. I'm sure you know this too. Whether you're doing readings for somebody or investigating haunted places there, sometimes there's no wise, you know, whatever. There's everything doesn't have to be, well, a reason. Some things are because they are. Sometimes we
Yes.
tend to go too involved. Well, why this and why that? It is what it is, and you deal with it. And sometimes I'm sure you've had the incidents like that where things happen, and even if you give somebody advice, they don't necessarily take it. for what it is.
Oh boy, do I know that. But that's okay. You know, you just pass. I think all you can do is pass on the guidance and
Yeah.
let people do what they will with it. It's all about that free will. Yeah.
Exactly, but at least you give people food for thought. Like I remember this young lady, very, very young lady, and I picked up this thing right her. I see her being slapped, the tooth coming out.
Oh,
How do
wow.
you say that? I said that. Okay, it goes on. That was her boyfriend, and why you let him do that? Well, I guess she was brought up being abused, and she says, well, if he does that because he loves me. If he didn't love me, he wouldn't hit me. And it went into my mind. It upset me so much that somebody can be brainwashed so much that they associate violence with love.
Mhm.
There's no connection with that. But what do you do? But at least I hope I gave her some food for thought. No, that's not the way it is. That's not love. You shouldn't be doing it.
Good
You should
for
get the
you.
hell out of that.
Right. And you know, and
Good.
that's kind of the thing.
You
So
could have
let's
saved her life as well, Stan. You could have saved her life ultimately, you know, got her out of a dangerous situation.
So let's ask a question that I know, Ian, maybe you haven't thought of, or, you know, I'm just interested, Stan, do you like to work with technology, like paranormal devices, things like that? Because I know I don't. Rachel's not real keen on it either, but I mean, I have used them, but I almost find that they shut me down because I'm too focused on the device and I'm not really letting my own energy out there, or sometimes they actually interrupt my energy. I've found that, like I've actually found that they interrupt my sort of channel to, you know, what's happening. How do you feel about using equipment? I mean, it's not a here nor there or a right or wrong question.
Sure. Just for me, of how I work. Okay. One, I like picking up energy, so I like being pure
Mhm.
using nothing, but
Just
going around.
yes,
What is
just-
it telling me? What is spirit telling me to there? But I also like to use some devices like where there is energy there. So if I'm picking up something somewhere, I like to have it. I like to go with somebody who's doing the tour. Let's say I'm picking up very strong energy from that corner over there.
Mhm.
Why don't you go, and if you see what's happening with the tools, how high the energy is in there. But to go back to your original question, I personally don't use anything. I prefer not to use anything. My
Mhm.
choice, but not to put down as you're not putting down. It's just different tools, different
Mhm.
people, work in different ways. Like when it comes to readings, what's better? Tarot deck, pendulum, this, that. It's what works for you. The old
Exactly.
adage, to thine own
That's
self
right.
be true. If you work with what's you, even when it comes to a tarot deck, there's like hundreds of them in existence now.
Yeah.
Some people say, well, I tried, nothing does nothing for me. Try another one. Maybe get one that works for you. Bottom line, not to be repetitive, to thine own self be true. And if you are, things work out.
Right. And in Ian's case, and much like my partner, my husband, they're not, they think they're not intuitive. So they like the equipment, and that's okay too, right? I always joke about it because like I said, I feel like everybody is. It's just whether or not they're kind of in tune with it. But
Yeah, well, I'm the scientific paranormal investigator. I'm the tech head.
Well, but I'm inclined to agree that everybody is psychic. You may call it a different word. Now, you can't get any more masculine, if you will, say they're like police officers, okay? And what are they doing with tarot cards? What are they doing with doing a psychic there? And I've got to meet and speak with a number of them with different crimes and stuff like that. And they are there, they pick up eventually, they could see 20, 30 people out on a corner. They know the energy is coming from one. There's a problem there, and they do it. But we should stop that car. Now, if you ask some of their psychic, they'll say no, but they know. They pick it up in time.
it's like gut feeling, right?
pick
You
it up.
get
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. I'm
It's
sure
about
just gonna,
learning to listen to ourselves. That's what I tell people.
So let's
Listen
put
to
you
that
on the
gut
spot.
instinct.
So,
Yeah.
Ian, you can you say that you've never picked up on anything like in your gut, a feeling, an intuition?
Oh, certainly. I do listen to my gut feelings, but
okay.
when it comes
Good.
to paranormal investigation, I am not sensitive outwardly in that regard. As I say, I'm the scientific investigator.
Okay.
And what has to happen is if I'm going into a location, the only way that I can pick up on something that's going on, and I have, and it's when there is such an overwhelming presence within the location, and then like you walk in through the doorway and you just get slammed with the energy. And I've had that happen. But as I say, for me, it has to be very intense
What
for
happened?
me to register that.
Yes, but it did indeed happen. So erase the word gut feeling, sixth sense, whatever it is. It's all the same thing. Rose by any other name still smells so sweet, whatever. It's all true. It is all there. How many people, I'm sure in your viewing audience over there, look back in their lives at times when they had a gut feeling about something, whether it's a job to take or not to take, a person to date or not to take, and they say, well, maybe I'm wrong, and only later on they could kick themselves in the backside and said, I should have listened to myself. It was there. So that goes along
Yeah.
with what you're all saying there. It's there within you. It's just to listen to it, but sometimes people do need somebody to tell it to them, and hopefully they tell it to them and the person will listen.